Well, I am on a roll. Yeah, I am. I don't know if you noticed or not, I'm wearing the same shirt in 3 videos in a row. Why is that? Because I'm doing 3 in a row. Today's a good day. This is the 3rd time I am able today to get a video done for this series. And I am happy about that. Everything seems to be working all right. It's true. Yes, it's all go. Where's Ketsy? She's around. I got her some snacks. If you were in the last episode, boy, she was ready for a snack. I tell you what, she was doing circles and getting up on her hind legs looked like a horse. And you know, when she's doing that, it's serious business. No barking. She does a little kind of a whimper. You know, it's cute. It's endearing. It's worth the full value of admission. I am excited about today's episode, guys. Look, this is so good. I know I say that. It's true. I could say great, because that would be true also. This is exceptional, because that's true also. I am so glad that you're here. And as always, if this is your first episode, thank you for tuning in. Super great of you to click on to this, sharing, tuning in and sharing this experience with me and with us. Because this stuff is really great. I'm really glad you're here. And as I always say, please go back to the first series. Series 1, Episode 1. Start there. Today's stuff is so mind-blowing. This stuff's going to be heavy today. There's some heavy stuff today. I mean, it's not just mind-blowing, amazing, but it's heavy and mind-blowing at the same time. So go back to Series 1. Start at Series 1, Episode 1, and work your way to this point. We're so glad that you're here, though. I hate to say goodbye, but this is not a great place to start. It's not a great place to start. So that's my counsel. What you do, that's up to you. But it's going to be tricky to wrap your head around all this stuff and things that I'm going to be saying today, because if you don't have the formation and the foundation built to this point, with all the incredible stuff that we've been learning, being like our Father in heaven, communicating with our Father in heaven, being transformed into the likeness of our Father in heaven, this is going to be tricky. That foundation, that formation will be kind of critical to understanding what we're going to get into today. And I'm going to be using a word today that it's not real. It's going to ruffle some feathers. Are you ready to have your feathers ruffled? Well, it's going to ruffle some feathers today, because I'm going to use a word. It's in the Bible, and it doesn't go well with the vice of pride. No, it doesn't. This series is all about developing these tools, these skills, the skill set, this characteristics in order to be transformed into the likeness of our Father in heaven. That's what the whole Bible is written for. That's why Jesus came to earth. It's why we were made. It's to be like our dad in heaven. Many examples we've seen in the Bible. We've even told by Jesus to be perfect as our Father in heaven is perfect. Even James, just 2 episodes ago, was saying that we're to be perfected and completed. We need the wisdom, as we covered in the last 2 episodes, wisdom being one of those tools, skills, abilities, attributes, characteristics, in order to develop this communication, this relationship with our Father in heaven. Yeah. Yes, indeed. So today, it's going to ruffle a few feathers. I hope you're into that. I hope you like to have your feathers ruffled. I like to be challenged personally. You know, when I'm listening to, I've been studying theology a long time, and ancient modern history, anthropology, sociology, modern culture. Yikes. But I don't know. It's been pretty not great in many aspects of culture throughout the world, throughout history. There's some serious stuff going on, guys. Not to get into politics and world events at this point, but there's a lot going on. Whoa. Whoa. We're in mid-January right now, just a little past, maybe 2/3 through January. And there's some stuff going on. We need some equipping if we're going to get through where we're going with this global thing that we're dealing with right now, folks. You know that. You know that's probably why you're here. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and say that is why you're here. These skills, these abilities, these attributes, these understandings, these life goals, this foundational understanding of what am I doing on this planet, it's going to be critical. It's going to be the anchor to the cross that we're going to need to get through this stuff. The faster, the better. Let's get that wisdom that we've been talking about the last couple of episodes with James and Solomon. We need that wisdom, guys, and all the other stuff. And today, it's going to be a new tool. It's going to ruffle feathers. It's true. So let's get at it. Should we? You think? I'm going to go with a yeah. Hang on. Yeah. That's the wisdom of God right there. The answer is yeah. Let's get it. Okay. So the word I'm going to use, and part of the tool that we're working on right now, here we go. Are you ready? I don't know if you're ready. It's called obedience. I know. Pride does not go with that word very well. Kind of just gets you. Just like, obedience. What? No. I just want warm and fuzzy. Well, warm and fuzzy. I mean, there's parts of our development in being godly that's warm and fuzzy. Not a ton, but there's some. When we have, I mean, we're in direct relationship with our Father in heaven all day, every day. If we are. I mean, we are. Everyone is, really. But as we're developing that closeness, sometimes we get a bit used to it. But when we get to these words and we figure out where we are, where's our character at? If we're having our feathers ruffled with that word obedience, well, we got some more pride to deal with. I know. I even saying the word, I'm just like, yeah, obedience. I need some of that. I need a whole bunch of that. In fact, I need all of it. I need some obedience. Why? Because in order to get to where we want to go, this is one of the gates we got to walk through. This is a door that we got to open. We got to knock and get it opened, and we got to walk through it. And because the value of that characteristic, that tool, is going to get us where we need to go. Period, end of story. And we're going to use some examples, some biblical examples, as we dig into this. And it's going to violate every part of us that doesn't want to be godly. Obedience, obedience, obedience. A lot of times it's faith. There's an aspect of faith in obedience, and we haven't gotten into faith yet. It's a tool that we're going to be getting into pretty darn quick, because we're going to need to. Because in order for us to get through obedience, boy, I'll tell you, it's going to be tricky. It's if you're feeling ruffling going on, I know I am. But it's okay. I like that. I like to be challenged. I like to listen to stuff. I use YouTube as a tool in my day-to-day. I'm referencing theologians and apologists and very extremely helpful. Boy, I remember before the internet and YouTube, it was slow going. You had your nose in a book, and you had to carry those books around. I mean, I got that stuff all on my phone now. I'm literally carrying a library of information on my phone everywhere I go. That's crazy. I tell you, you know. So obedience, yeah, obedience. Don't tune out. Hang on, because this is really good stuff. It's going to ruffle your feathers, but it's going to be in a good way. Because they get ruffled and then they get all put back into place. Sometimes you see a bird, they'll, flap because they got feathers that are out of place. Ruffled feathers. The wind hits them the wrong way, or maybe another bird attacks them, or whatever. We got to get our feathers back into place. Once they get ruffled, and that's what's going to happen today. So, with that said, we're going to get into it. So, a secondary, it's obedience / the cross / thy Father's will. That's going to help you understand a little prelude to where we're going today. Jesus says, and I've covered this regular, and I like to bring it up relative to humility, except you be like a child, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. We've covered that. Never? That's a long time. I think never is a long time. Let's just check the definition of never. That would be equals a long time. Never. So we got to get there. We got to be like children. Whose children? Our Father in heaven's children. And this is where we're going today. As a child, if I didn't have obedience with my parents, there were consequences. Now, if they caught me not being obedient, there was that consequence. But there was also the consequences of the things that I went through when they weren't around, when they were watching me, and I was disobedient. And so there was that. So those two things together, disobedience equals a problem, a lot of problems. Because it's not just one time. If you're disobedient in one thing, well, that turns into two, right? Well, I got away with it last time, or I didn't bother last time, it was fine. And then 3, and then you get caught on the 4th one, in whichever way that you get caught. Either you're out and about doing what you shouldn't be doing and you suffer, or worse, or you get caught by your parents, And then you get not going to go there for you politically correct folk in this modern world. Jesus learned obedience through suffering. Just quote in the Bible. Never mind. I'm going to get to that. Okay. Obedience / the cross / the Father's will. That's what this tool is all about. And we're going to get there. So, unless you be like a child. Never, never, never. Luke chapter 22, verse 42. Short and sweet. This is just Jesus talking again. He's God. We may as well just go ahead and say, yes, sir. Yes, yes. Here it is. This is him just before suffering the greatest torture in the history of the world, being crucified by the Romans. Right? Luke 22, verse 42. Here's Jesus giving an example. Knowing he has to get crucified. He's in the Garden of Gethsemane at night, in the dark. Father, if thou art willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will be done, but thine be done. That, ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, that is the definition of obedience. That's just saying, yes, Dad. I know it's going to be difficult. For in this instance, extremely difficult. One of the most difficult things to willingly enter into the suffering of the scourging, the walk of shame, even just the walk of shame, guys. If that's all it was, getting scourged and then being marched through the streets of Jerusalem, dragging a big cross with you, showing everybody that's anybody. And they were just celebrating him days before. They're all watching him going, and they all know. Everybody knows what that means. They'd leave people hanging there all the time on crosses. Everybody knew what it meant. Father, if thou art willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but thy will be done. This is obedience. It's just saying, yes, sir. I know it's going to be hard. I know it's going to be difficult. We, as a tool in the tool belt, a characteristic, an attribute, have to resolve this thing called obedience if we're going to develop to be like our Father in heaven. Now, if we don't want to, well, that's our choice. We have the free will to say no. Jesus had the free will to say no. He could have said no to being crucified, scourged, marched through the streets of Jerusalem. He could have said no. But he didn't, because he saw the value on the other side of it. And it's the same for us relative to this tool, obedience. We need this tool. It's not optional. We need and must have this tool called obedience. Now, we're not talking about, especially for us, we're not the Messiah to be crucified necessarily. We're not the Messiah. Let's just leave it at that. But what we're going to get into this concept of obedience. We are not going to be able to do the things that God needs us to do in order to be developed to be like him without this attribute. Impossible. Not going to get there. We need to be able to just say, yes, sir, your will be done. Whatever it is, let's do it. Even in the face of extreme suffering, even in the face of martyrdom and death. Now, he's going to be there with us and give us the grace and empower us to be able to do all the things that he calls us to do. That's the greatest thing about all of this. If he calls us to do something, he's going to equip us to do it. He's not going to just leave us there and say, oh, you're on your own. You get through that, let me know. Nuh-uh. No, he's there the whole time. And that's where this communication and encountering heaven through life, it is especially prevalent in the times of challenges. If you look through all the miracles and that Jesus was involved with, look through the whole Bible. There's all this supernatural stuff going on. You'll find in most instances there's a major problem. There's something going on. There's a point where whoever's involved could probably be saying, "I'm out. No thanks. I don't want to." But then they're going to miss the transformational aspects of what God's doing at that time. I know Jonah tried that. We covered that. Jonah's like, nah, I don't want the Ninevites to be saved. I want you to bring fire down on their city. I'm not even going to tell them you're going to do it. We covered that. Father, if thou art willing, remove this cup from me. Lord, I don't want to go through this, whatever it is. I know you've given me the option here. I can say yes or no. But I tell you what, if you'll remove the cup, I'll take that. But if you're not, I'm good with what you want to do. Your will be done. Please help me with it, please, right? And of course, God, his Father and the Holy Spirit were with him the whole time. He was ministered to by angels also. Incredible stuff. This is part of what we're doing here on earth. It's not all, singing songs and, hearing great sermons or not, depending on where you go. It's not all the, milk and honey. Obedience, we have to have it. We need it. We have to have it. We have to have it. We have to have it. God help us with this. And he will, of course, as we seek him. Through the wisdom that he's granting us. That wisdom that he's granting us is going, yeah, I need that. Yes, I do. I know it's ruffling my feathers, but I need that anyway. I got to I need to be rewired so I see the value in that capacity, the skill, the attribute to say, I don't want to, but I'm going to. Obedience. This is what Jesus was saying. I don't want to, but I will. It's literally what he was saying. Literally. He's like, I don't want to. I don't want to do this. This is going to, but I will, if it's your will. Okay. I got time for one more today on this. There's a bunch we got to get through on this subject. But let's see if we can get through. Matthew 18, verse 1 through 4. I'm going to hustle here. Verse 18. At that time, the disciples came to Jesus saying, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? Verse 2. And calling to him a child, he put him in the midst of them and said, truly I say to you, unless you turn and become like a child, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Whoever humbles himself like this child is greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Now, I know we've been talking about that, but look, there's a new level to this today. Well, who's a child? If you're a child, that means you have a dad that's intimately involved in overseeing your life, telling you what to do and telling you what not to do. Unless you become like a child, you'll never enter the kingdom of heaven. Obedience. This is what a child is. A child is the one who says, yes, Dad. No, yes, Dad. Whatever you need, Dad. Yes. Yes, Mom. Whatever you need. Yes, I'll be obedient. That's what a child is. It's someone who's in the position where they are in submission to someone. That's another word we can add here. Ooh, let's keep ruffling those feathers. Obedience, submission. It's the same thing. Submit. That's military. You got a superior officer, you're going to do what you're told. I'll tell you what, you're going to do what you're told. Immediate, no questions, just immediate. Because that's how it has to be in the military. Well, we're soldiers of Christ. Paul talks about that. We're in a military as much as we are in a family, as much as we are as a part of the body, That's what a child is. It's someone, he brings it, Jesus bringing a child in the middle of him and his guys saying, look, unless you're like a child, you'll never enter the kingdom of heaven. Well, what is the child? The child is someone who is submitted to a father. When you get older, Jesus is talking about being a little child. When you get older and you're a man, that's different. But he's not saying when you're older and then an adult, you'll enter the kingdom of heaven. No, he's saying unless you're like a child, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. The point is, that's what a child is. They're in a state of obedience, a state of submission. All day, every day, they have someone over them. That's the next level or the next value in this particular verse. Yes, become humble like a child. Yes, well, that's what we're talking about too. That's what humility is. It's submitting in obedience to an overseer, to a dad. That's hard. This is hard. I know it's hard. I know. But when Jesus says something, we just got to go, yes, yes, Lord. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right now. I'm on it. And every time we say no, we are creating a problem and a rift by our own free will. Every time we say no. Every time we say no. Every time we say no. It's like a private to a sergeant. Private, give me 10 push-ups. Nah, I don't think so. Right? Well, how much more is our Father in heaven? He's not a drill sergeant. He's the creator and king of all things. Try that with a king. No, king, I don't think so. Right? This is what we're talking about. Obedience, submission. That's what the cross is, folks. We're going to get into that in the next episode. It's not enough time today. We got to let this stuff sink in. Obedience, submission. That's what the Bible's full of stuff. It's all pretty simple for the most part. We do need formation. We do need training. We do need somebody overseeing us who is telling us what to do. We've covered that in previous episodes. And God gave apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, and teachers for the equipping of the saints, for the work of the ministry, that we might grow and to fulfill the fullness of Christ. Okay, I butchered that a little. We need all that to fulfill our mandate of becoming Christ-like, or becoming Christ. We need some. Now, we need God to help us with that, because not everyone who's an apostle, prophet, evangelist, pastor, or teacher in the modern world are going to be able to help you. Some of them don't even want to. They're just punching a card, unfortunately. Or they just haven't been equipped themselves, and they've gotten themselves into positions. I talk to, I've been a part of, doing leadership and ministry stuff for years. I can't even talk to people about this stuff. They're just like, what? No. We're just gonna, be nice people. 10 steps on how to be happy. No, I've never worked with guys that come from that headspace, but they're out there, or the whole, just believe God and you'll get $1 million. Send us money. Yeah. That's the world we live in. But no, so we need help with this, though. And I'm here to help in any way that I can. But making these videos is going to be a great tool or help or step in the right direction. As you're seeking God for wisdom, ask Him, hey, you said I need apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, and teachers. Please help me find the right one. And there might be one that will help you initially, and another one that will help you the next step down the road. A lot of varying factors, where you are geographically. But we do have the internet now, and that's kind of awesome, right? I'm going to leave it there for now. We got lots more on this: obedience, submission, the cross, Father's will. But I'll tell you what, the value of gaining this quality, the value on the other side, it's incalculable how valuable this is. And especially when you get to the other side of it, you go, you know what? I'm not only going to be obedient, be submitted to what God says, but I'm going to like it. That's when we really, find in that degree of perfection that James talked about in 2 episodes ago and last episode, James chapter 3, verse 1 through 5. Being perfected and completed with wisdom. Okay. Leaving it there. Yes, I'm clapping, I know. And you know who I'm talking to right now, clapping. That was a side note for one of my watchers. For fun. Okay, leaving it there. Thank you so much for joining me today. Do all the YouTube things that we do, like, subscribe, share, comment, if you like. And with that, thanks again, and I'll see you in the next episode.